Hi there. My name is Aya Scranland. This is Debate Speech 1. The topic is climate change, and my position is that the US should immediately implement a significant carbon tax. Climate change is undoubtedly one of the biggest crises that we are facing today. There is massive effects and devastating consequences that will come from our pollution. Some examples of this could be mass natural disasters, uneven weather patterns, biodiversity loss, and from these uneven weather patterns will come food shortages, which would lead to hunger for the people. Ultimately, our entire economy will topple. The way we live right now, currently with industrialism and consumerism, will not be sustainable through this climate crisis. And so I think it's important that we take steps now before it gets too late to do everything we can in order to not only sustain humanity and just being able to live on this planet, but also I think it's an ethical, moral obligation to everything else that lives on this planet. So the first reason that I think we need to implement a significant carbon tax is the projections of where we should be and where we are in terms of climate conventions such as the Paris Agreement. 2015, the Paris Agreement says that we will have to hit net zero carbon emissions by 2050, and that we need to lower our global warming to less than 2 degrees centigrade by 2100. It also said that there needed to be $2 billion donated each year to a climate fund. Since 2015, when this agreement was created and 197 countries had joined it, we have not made significant progress at all towards any of the goals that were stated here. So however bleak that may seem, the good thing is that there are a lot of new influx of net zero carbon goals and commitments that we are projected to reach a 2.1 degrees centigrade by 2100 if these commitments are followed through. So it's still not as good as we wanted to, but we're trying, and that is from the lack of use of carbon. So it's people trying to go net zero, which is the whole point of why we should have a tax, goes to my reason two, which is mass corporations and big business need incentive, because these changes away from fossil fuels will cost billions of dollars. It will change the economy completely, and it's a step away from everything that we are comfortable with, our society, industrialism, corporations. The way that we live in a consumer society will ultimately need to be completely worked on and changed. And so I believe that big corporations will need an incentive to do this change. It will not come out of the goodness of their hearts. People are making billions and millions of dollars, trillions of money we can't even imagine, normal people, quote unquote, like me or you, whoever's watching this video. I'm sure you're probably not a billionaire. If you are, you should pay my tuition. Anyways, so yeah, it's a big incentive we need. And maybe, people will say that the carbon tax is not enough, or that we should be targeting other things beside carbon. But if it's any incentive towards change, it's what we should be doing. And I think as the government is there for the people to ensure, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, at least here in the United States, we should be making progress, and we should have legal legislation that will lead to this progress, which is why I do believe that it should be a government implemented tax. And so then that opens a new question of where would this money go? And so there is projections that a $50 per ton carbon tax would roughly collect about $2 trillion over a 10-year period. And we're talking a lot of money here. This is money that can be put back into the economy, back into the infrastructure, into the American households, or wherever it may be, that will ultimately be of good use in fighting these changes, in creating new ways of living that's gonna ensure, humanity's survival. And to get back into an ethical standpoint, in my conclusion, I do believe that we need to implement a carbon tax, a significant one, immediately, because we owe it to not only ourselves, our children, the future generations of humanity, but also every other living thing on this planet, which depends on the climate and ecosystems that are perfectly created. I think it's very anthropocentric and very egotistical of us as humans to disregard all the other life forms that we are devastating with our change. So that is my debate, and on that note, peace out.